Yo, welcome to the Irregular Chatter podcast. You've got me, Alex and Soji Knight. Let's go and let's do this. You cannot just sit down and just want me to just sit down and be insulting Trump all day. I'm like, you don't understand the news. You don't know the news. Why are we? You can't come and be someone come now and be quoting Trevor Noah for me. And like when I know that 90% of what this guy is saying is a lie, it's just
Trevor,
like yeah, a lot of what he
who?
says. That I've not seen anybody that can lie with a straight face like that guy yet. Lord
Serious?
Jesus. Like
Are you
if
serious?
if you
I
follow
think
news co and you start
yeah.
listening to Trevor Noah, it's then
Mm-hmm.
that you like this guy. I'll say maybe just for an experiment for a month, like
Mm-hmm.
listen and read like a good amount of news, not just from one source. That guy that I was recommending to you, maybe check him out and see. That Tempo.
Who is that? Oh, okay. Okay.
So like he's a center left person. So
Oh,
at
okay.
least
I thought he was right too. I thought he
no.
would be like, so
For the
center left.
for the most part, I don't really listen to right wing news to a good extent. Most times, like I actually prefer to, but I try to kind of like balance things up. But most news channels are on the left, so
Yeah.
but
But
yeah,
just Fox on the right now, but he said Fox is like the most listened to.
yeah. Okay, Fox is right wing, but they are like the most how do I put it? At least they are certified in the way that CNN is certified, so to speak. There's a lot of other right wing news channels, but that they are not really. Some of them are just exist to like kind of blow the trumpet of like right wing people, but then they're not
Mm.
really like official. So I don't bother with those ones. Like they only see what is good about stuff on the right wing.
Mm.
So, but the thing is, like Fox, like this guy now, forgetting the name of that their main anchor. Like that guy he's a very balanced person, and he kind of he's what a journalist should be, as opposed
Okay.
to most of. So like for his own news portion, like yes, I will say like his stuff is very credible. He leans right, so like there's still going to be that bias there sometimes, but
Yeah,
to a good
definitely.
extent, like the guy
I'm
is
going to check,
very.
I'm going to
But
check out Team Pool. I think I'm interested in the guy at least to see what he's about and then just see how he delivers his own news. He says he's center left, yes.
yeah, center left.
Okay.
Then okay, because another thing is that people tend to not be able to. Every news channel has opinion editorials and then news.
Yeah.
Opinion
Mm.
editorial is based on whatever bias that anchor has, so it doesn't necessarily actually need to be true. You can come and actually it's just based on their own personal opinions. So
Yeah.
everything is still set up like they are casting news, even though it is not news. So
But
most people
unfortunately,
cannot separate those. Like okay, something like Rachel Maddow now covers more opinion editorial than news. She doesn't actually really do news like that. It's based off of news, but it's an op-ed. All late night
they,
shows are
they should blow
op-eds.
it.
They are not
If it
news. Yeah.
if it's really if like it's really based on opinion, they should blow it up and like specifically spell it out. Because the
Usually
unfortunate
they used to before, but they don't
thing,
anymore. Like the fact,
when
okay,
you
I was talking to a friend, the guy he's in UK, and he was talking about like where he posted something. So he posted one video about with it was Trevor Noah actually. So I ended up like commenting on it, like okay, a lot of what this guy is saying is misleading a lot of people. Like what he's saying is very very untrue. Like so we now go to talking shop because of it. And the guy called like in the beginning, he called Trevor Noah news. That's where I kind of like checked out. I'm like, okay, there's no need to go into too much detail with this guy. Like sometimes explaining it, people tend to look at it as if you are condescending. So most times I don't used to want to even if there's a place you will be that I will not bother. Like if you figure it out by yourself, it's fine. But I wouldn't give too much of my opinion in that kind of. I just explain, okay, this is how stuff happened, and then we're talking about the whole like stimulus package, the money they're going to give and all that, and this guy
okay.
kind of made it seem as if Trump was holding the money up. They didn't want to help people and stuff. When like they were like, okay, we need to give people this money quickly, Abby. Like so that
yeah,
there are people that it's almost the end of the month, right? People are out of jobs, they cannot pay rent and this thing.
yeah.
So the bill they were passing to share that money is like 5 pages or something like that. It's not much. This woman
Okay.
comes, what is that her name, Safe? The
Nancy.
Nancy Pelosi comes from nowhere with a 1,400 page this thing bill that they want to pass into law. The contents of the bill is carrying things like diversity and social social justice and like climate change. Like this is not the time. Like this may be pressing issues, but they're not as pressing as the issue we are talking right now. Like 10 million people have lost jobs, and more are still on the way because of the virus. Many people cannot work, and they're like, okay,
Yeah,
we need to throw this money into the economy so that we can like, okay, small businesses can stay open. Others that are not open can still take this loan and keep paying their staff so that they will not fire them. Because once you fire a staff, then it's easier to hire somebody else at the cheaper price later on. You get so
yeah,
they were thinking of stuff like that, and I understand that some of the things like okay, there was one Democratic senator that came up and was like, okay, like there's one 500 billion that they were going to open to some businesses, and there was no transparency there. And he made a point about okay, no, there should be an oversight committee on that money. And I actually agree with that. And like, if you're going to give that much money to, there should be somebody, there should be, in fact, there should be a bunch of people overseeing it. This is our money. How is it spent? Who is getting it? Stuff like small, small things. Families of politicians should not be able to get access to this money, like even if they have businesses, stuff like that. And to
mm,
some extent, I agree with it so that there will not be nepotism, there will be transparency. Everybody knows where the money is going because these are still people's taxes that they paid. But this is not the time to be talking about climate change. In fact, everybody staying at home has been very good for the climate. Smog has
yeah.
cleared from most of the air, like water is cleaner now. Like so this is not the time to care about all that nonsense. Like
That's one
and and, and,
footprint that
and and how do you want people to pass a 14 like this is something they're talking about an emergency bill? How do you have a 1,400 page emergency bill? But then Trevor Noah is now reporting on this same matter, and then twisted everything. And like, if you watch that clip after kind of like knowing the real info that's going on behind the scenes, you'll be like,
yeah.
how somebody will come and be lying with such a straight face, you will not just understand. But then it's okay, because this guy is not a newscaster, he's not a journalist, he's a
That's the thing.
comedian.
The
He's
funniest thing
he's
is,
open to be able to just come out and just be giving his opinion,
yeah,
which is fine.
like once upon a time, I used to always follow, like, I used to follow Trevor Noah, like, regularly, like, the Daily Show, I followed it well, followed Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy
Um,
Fallon, all of those guys. But
Kobe,
then,
like,
when I started having a bit, like, some problems with it is, when I noticed that like the whole like your show is completely centered around just dissing somebody and then looking for somebody's faults and then always blowing it out of proportion, like always. Like I know it definitely can't be that bad, like the whole person.
exactly. It just and even if it is, cover all that stuff now. Like this kind,
Exactly.
like Trevor Noah
Like it
used to
just
be
really seems
very
like
funny, very
like
funny,
it
and he had
just
like,
seems like trying to get the laughs. That's all.
eh,
Like the
eh, eh,
laughs are
eh,
just
and
funny.
it's cheap laughs because like okay. Normally, if you hear Trevor Noah's old sets, like the guy's like he's a genius as far as me I'm concerned, like comedy wise, but like he has a way of looking at things, but
I was get
that
that far.
this kind,
Sometimes
uh,
it's coming sounds forced, to be
yeah,
honest, for me.
sometimes. But there are some okay, like there's this joke he was gisting about his mom, where like the woman they have this national insurance that they pay for in South Africa, everybody pays into it, so that whenever it is you get sick, you just go into the hospital and then you get good health care without actually having to pay any bills when the emergency comes. But most people have this mindset of I never get sick, so I'm not paying this money. But then when you now finally get sick, because you've not been paying into it, healthcare is going to be expensive for you, Abby.
Mm.
Now, Bros is like, okay, yeah, his mom never gets sick. For like 20 years, she hadn't gotten sick. But then she got shot. She had a bullet in her head. And Bros took
Mm.
her to hospital. because South African and people get shot anyhow. So, bros is like, she had been like, when he asked her, like, how far? Why haven't you been paying for this thing for the last 4 years? I said, I never get sick. There's something that she did not think about. Bullet. Like, there's kind of, the way his head went, and I'm like, I've, I would have thought of plenty iterations of this joke, and my head wouldn't have gone there. That's why I'm like, okay, like, to some extent, I would say yes, like, comedy wise, genius, but like, genius is kind of fall off the road on some things. It's not as if every joke he cracks is funny, but like, I say he has his own style where you're like, okay, this is Trevor Noah's style of jokes, and at least
I would say that I would give him that much.
something
Personally,
is something
I'm a fan
fresh coming up. But
of his comedy.
since bro started on that whole, like, on the Trump stuff, like as soon as he joined them, like this thing just, it's been a while since I've sat down and laughed at. Now he takes himself too seriously. And like, he's still a comedian. Like, fam. Because like, I used to watch all those late night shows I went to this thing now. I was at Jimmy Kimmel's set when I first came. I remember I went to Hollywood. That was Christmas 2017. I think I had a video celebrating Jimmy Kimmel's this thing. Like, I was very excited. Like, I love the guy. Now I can't even watch it. Like, I cannot. Like, why? Because all of them are actually saying the same thing and this thing.
Yeah, basically.
Fam, stop. We already have CNN for that. Like, everybody on CNN, that's what they are doing. MSNBC, all those other news channels, that is what they are doing. I used to also enjoy watching CNN too, because that's what me and my dad watch at home. Normally, we switch between CNN and BBC, but for the most part, we mostly watch CNN. So like, I come here, my favorite news channel is CNN, but then everything is breaking news. Trump, breaking news. Trump. I'm like, okay, fam, what is happening elsewhere in the world now? You don't get to hear about anything else. Like, if you are watching CNN, cool. You don't know if there's like, for a while, the world still seeming very peaceful. You don't know that there were some other wars happening elsewhere, and like bombings and all that stuff, because all they were reporting on was Trump. And like, this is like the least important. This is like the least interesting part of the news. Like, why are you telling me that, okay, this guy? And sometimes a lot of it turns out to be like there was one news that they reported, like, okay, that was on Thanksgiving Day last year. Like, they were reporting breaking news. Trump went to his house and has been playing golf on Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving is one of the only holidays the president actually gets. Abi, so if he goes and, for how stressful the job is, look at how old Obama got within the first month of being president. Look at how old George Bush got within like the first couple of weeks of being president too.
Oh, but Trump looks like he's getting younger.
Exactly. Like, funny enough, it looks like he's the only one, because I guess he's used to that stress already, being a billionaire businessman.
He lives for this type of stuff.
So like, there's no issue with it. But like, they actually reported this shit as with clips and everything. And guess what happened? Bros was actually in Iraq celebrating his Thanksgiving with the troops. Like, he time that you are supposed to spend with your family, Bros actually like sacrifices and went, because the troops in Iraq are also not spending that Thanksgiving with their family, which is something that I think is what you expect from a leader. It doesn't matter whether a person is a good leader or a bad leader. Like, I'm not going to push anybody's opinion on that one. But at the very least, which is not bad. But then the person just heard it from someone and they don't even bother to corroborate it. And then you are going to report it. And you're a journalist. You're supposed to have any information you get, you're supposed to be able to corroborate it from two sources at the very least before you report it. Somebody just says it without any this thing, you just run and go and report it. Because like, we have to. So now you now end up having to, okay, on a day like Thanksgiving, for example, now people are not going to spend much time watching news. So as I mean, you just turn on the TV and then that's what you saw. And then you turn the TV off. When they come back to report that, okay, sorry, the news we reported earlier was actually wrong. This is what actually is. You will not see it. And then
does that ever happen?
They hardly ever take their news back, even when it's wrong. Or when they print it at the bottom of the page. Like, there was something I was showing my sister a while ago, because like, normally they don't really care about news to a good extent and like politics and all that. So most times it's when I come and ramble with them that it comes out. So I'm like, me and my brother tend to have a lot of like disagreements when it comes to this thing. Like we can't go back and forth on like politics and this thing. It's kind of interesting to watch us. So I'm like, okay, this is why I don't agree with the way most times I don't agree with the news, and this is why. So I showed her something like there's a headline about how
Mhm.
a policeman shot a black guy, maybe,
Yeah.
and it's like when you read it, it seems as if like that stuff was like they just wickeded the guy, just shot him and stuff, and that was how the headline looked. Then I opened it, and then that bros had just finished robbing something, and then he had shot two cops and he fire and he this thing and he like fireman before he got shot by the police. But
So you just feel like a piece of information that was conveniently omitted.
exactly, if you ask them, they'll say they're still because it's there in the news. They actually wrote it. But then most people just read headlines, especially when you're using like all these phone apps for your news.
Yeah.
You quickly just scroll through the headlines. Okay, let me just see what is happening. And when you see one that seems interesting, you just click it. Something like a black guy getting shot by the cops. People have gotten so disillusioned by it that most times you'll not even find it interesting again. Just click it. You're like, what is new? Like cops are always killing black guys. Like this kind. I know, like, is such a bad thing that something like that has become something that people have gotten disillusioned by. But
Yeah.
it's more of a. I also look at it like it's a two-pronged problem too. Like one is of the cops that find it necessary to be killing black people anyhow, but then the news people who also tend to overhype the stuff because many a times if you omit the ones where this thing, if you report where the person that was shot was in a position to be shot, and then the one that is wrong as wrong, people will tend to trust it more, and then people will have a better emotional response to it. So when something heinous happens, they won't just say it could be wrong, and then there won't be too much doubt. But right now, like especially with all these during this coronavirus time now, Trump like kind of like he addresses the nation every day, and
But Trump himself is actually part of his own problem. That's even the truth.
yeah, he's
Because
part of his problem. But right now, like
because
I'm just
I saw like apparently he tweeted something himself now, or he retweeted something where like they're saying Trump's ratings have
mm,
gotten very very high, like, and it's off the fact that he's addressing the nation rather every night, and then like I think they said there's at least like 85 million Americans watching him when that
yeah.
stuff goes up, and then it was kind of like he was bragging on the start that his ratings were very high, and it's like, bros, you're actually addressing the public because of the pandemic. Like people are supposed to watch you. You're actually the main thing everybody's supposed to be watching now. So you shouldn't come and be trying to brag about that kind of thing. So I'm very sure like when channels like maybe CNN, MSNBC, ABC, probably CBS, stuff like that, they'll kind of like, okay, yes, now this is this guy clowning, and then they do it. They take it like it gives them something.
See,
Like how did I even when did I even hear it?
see,
I think
cool.
I heard it from a podcast now, and I was like, yo, and even the person was like, this is just crazy. Like, why
The,
would you be trying to make this thing seem like like
like you
an
play it to
achievement?
your achievement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that thing it's messed up, Sha. It's like if there's anything I don't like him for, like that would be like on the top of the list. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't, I kind of like him for like being able to someone that rather than he doesn't really like dance to the tone of the this thing like normal politicians. Like he comes out and just says kind of like what is on his mind, bro. But at the same
Yeah.
time, for me, I feel like it's about balance. Like there are some places where he shouldn't talk. There are some
Hmm.
situations where he should just like kind of like shut up on certain matters. Like fam, just kind of keep quiet. Remember that you're still a president, though. It's not just like I know everybody kind of like
A bit.
likes that sometimes, like he's being savage and stuff. But sometimes, because the way journalists have been behaving of late, like that his savage behavior is necessary for some of them. Like someone will be asking you questions where they're trying to bait you, and those like okay, one guy was asking him yesterday. Someone was asking him about the petrol prices and stuff, and the brother doesn't even know how much petrol is. So brother is like, okay, how much is petrol? Like how much is it now? Before I answer you. And Bros is like, I don't know. And then it's like, okay, so what are you asking about? Like, fam, like stuff like that. So, and irregular
Yeah,
politician now would have gone and beat around the bush, apologize for things that he shouldn't be apologizing for, just go in round and round in circles, and people get tired of stuff like that.
yeah,
So, like I'll say, like it's kind of like there are places where he can tone down stuff like that now, like all that boasting.
yeah.
Because if I think right now, the polls for people don't trust American news right now, especially those CNN, MSNBC, because they're like, okay, they come out and say they should be the one reporting the news because their own opinion should not count. But then,
Mm-hmm.
if you notice, CNN, MSNBC, all those people they've dropped out of airing Trump's this thing. That's him addressing the country every day. They don't air it again,
For real?
and it's not their
CNN doesn't
business.
aid.
Yeah, they
Oh,
don't
that's cool.
because
Why?
they say he's lying. I'm like, if he's
About
lying, is that not more info? Is that not more reason why you should let us hear it so that we can pop and plain see that he's lying? It's not you don't decide what we watch now. Like it's not your.
actually there's a bunch of problems with journalism now. That's just the thing.
This is right now.
Like
We don't really have journalists. We have activists everywhere. Like that's just the real issue. Like there are not people that are trying to get to the bottom of stuff again. There are people that are just trying to decide things for you, tell you what you should know, who you should like, who you should vote for, stuff like that. And like your job is one thing and one thing only. Give us the information. We'll decide what we want to decide on it. Like you're not my grandmother. You're not supposed to teach me morals or whatever. Your opinion is your opinion. Keep it to yourself. Like, give me the information and then I'll do what I want to do with it. It's not up to you. But you have what you have now, and then like people are wondering why people don't trust journalists and stuff. And like
yeah.
you saw that stuff about that Chinese woman yesterday.
What stuff was that?
Okay, there was this woman that came up and was like kind of like praising China, like everything they've done so far with this whole coronavirus and stuff. And Trump in his
No?
Trumpy fashion, it's like
Mm-hmm.
China. You working for China? You working for China? And then like the woman was trying to like because she wasn't actually asking a question per se. She was more making a statement where she was kind of like praising them and the way they've acted and this thing. And considering like Trump is kind of pissed to some extent, and there's a lot of people that are actually kind of like pissed with China about like the way they handle, the way they like he been hiding information and a lot of things that they've done around this coronavirus thing that I don't over talk about before they come and ban us from YouTube. But like the woman was just praising them. And my bros is like, okay, are you a journalist? Abi, you are here to come and praise China. And then, so the woman, she's Chinese, if you look at her and everything. So the guy like, are you
Yeah.
working for China? It's like, no. Does your station belong to China? The woman said no. Then the guy's like, okay, so what station are you from? And then she says Phoenix something, Phoenix Newscasting Corporation or whatever, based in Hong Kong. Then the woman,
Okay.
the guy like, oh, doesn't that belong to a Chinese system? And they're like, no. So he left it there. It's like, okay, so based on the info that you're asking me for, it's something that they're developing. So it's something that we'll know about in the next couple of months. And then he moved on to the next person, Abby. Now, what is they covering on like CNN and stuff was about how racist Trump was. Like this kind just because the woman is Chinese, the guy he just assumed her credentials are rubbish and he's just asking her whether she works for China and this thing.
Yeah.
Only for them to do investigation after everybody has finished calling him racist on the matter to find out that
Mm-hmm.
this thing, her station actually belongs to the Chinese government.
Oh, wow. So she actually lied.
Yeah,
From,
like it's based in Hong Kong, cool, and it's
yeah.
private, cool, but it's owned by a high-ranking military official in the Chinese government. So, like, it essentially belongs to the Chinese government. Like, it's not like there's no two ways around that one. It's like you hear like Yaya Bello now owns a TV station. Is it not? Doesn't that TV station belong to Buhari?
Yeah.
Like, that's just kind of how it is. And then you need, if they bother to even do any small investigation into the matter, cool, like they would have like that channel is known for spreading Chinese propaganda. That's all they do. But they didn't even look into it. They just assumed, they just, okay, it's Trump, so what he says has to be bad, and then this is the bad it will be, and then they just start going on it for hours and hours, only for them to turn out to be wrong. So, like, why will I now be
Like,
trusting the info that you are giving me?
yeah, like another interesting, to be honest, she even made her own like initially because of the news sources I was
Mm,
exposed to, but there was no the daily shows and stuff. I thought like I instantly hated Trump, like even without having any genuine or necessary like
it's
well founded.
physical. Yeah,
I did like I just immediately started hating him. But then I think with a little bit of more education and then switching my focus from like those kind of shows to actual news sources and then reading stuff online, I began to like be able to kind of compartmentalizing, like, okay, definitely there's some good, there's some bad. Like, you can't, there's no way you tell me that every single thing that comes out of this person is bad. I was
yeah,
listening to something too, like, apparently since January, Trump wanted to shut down all flights to China,
yeah,
all flights to and from China since January, but then was confronted with like all this talk of like that's the very xenophobic thing to do, to like shut down like flights to a particular country, like this whole racist this thing. They were trying to
yeah,
make it seem like Trump was very racist, but like down the line now, apparently a lot of people even started coming out and saying like actually that's what would have made way more sense if right sometime they had actually shut everything down, then like
yeah.
the amount of cases in the US now would not have been this bad. So it's like this guy was actually trying to do something right, but unfortunately now he has been
Exactly. And you know, the
stigmatized.
funny thing, those same people that were casting him for being racist then cool, and now casting
Yeah,
him for not acting fast enough.
exactly. Like yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, what? Like,
Like, fam, like pick a side and stay with it. Like, yeah, this guy was said something like that yesterday to Codename President Joe Biden. The Trump was gloating on it. Like, and that was a gloating that I actually enjoyed because I like. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this clip from the episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We end up uploading everything as a full episode, maybe like 2-3 hours long. So you can enjoy this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. Just, we just put it out there, just have fun and, just talk about random stuff. So if you enjoyed this, share this with your friends, subscribe to our channel and, talk about us, just spread the word. Thank you very much.